All right, let's just jump right in. If you're an innovation leader, I bet this is going to sound painfully familiar. Your team comes up with this absolutely brilliant, game-changing idea. Everyone's excited, the potential is massive, and then it just kind of dies. It never quite makes that leap into the core business. It is one of the most common and deeply frustrating problems out there.
You know, there's a name for this. Researchers call it the last mile problem, and it costs companies a fortune in missed opportunities. So what is actually going on? Why is that journey from a great concept to a scaled solution just so incredibly difficult? Well, the answer really lies in this fundamental tension that exists inside pretty much every large company.
And the research gives this tension a name: the exploration-exploitation divide. I want you to picture a giant chasm. On one side, you've got exploration. That's the hunt for what's new, what's possible. On the other side, you've got exploitation. That's all about optimizing and scaling what you already do. The failure happens when we don't build a solid bridge to get ideas across that chasm.
And here you can really see those two competing worlds, right? Over here are your exploration units, your R&D teams, your innovation labs. They are built for flexibility, for creativity. They actually thrive on uncertainty. But the core business? That's the exploitation engine. It is built for the exact opposite: efficiency, predictability, and scale. Its entire purpose is to reduce uncertainty. So when these two completely different cultures collide without a plan, well, that friction is exactly what kills great ideas.
So that brings us to the billion-dollar question. How do we become expert bridge builders? How can leaders like you systematically navigate this divide and make sure your best, most promising innovations actually survive the trip and deliver a real return on that investment?
Well, this is the solution the research offers: the Innovation Transition Roadmap. It's simple, it's visual, and it's an incredibly practical tool designed to do just one thing: build that bridge. It helps you and your teams actually plan the journey from a cool idea to a fully integrated, value-creating part of your business.
Okay, so what does this tool actually look like in practice? How does it work? Let's break down its key parts. You're about to see how it takes what is often a really complex, chaotic challenge and turns it into a series of clear, manageable steps.
So, the roadmap organizes the entire journey into 3 clear stages. First is develop. This is where you create the new thing. Now, let's be honest, most innovation teams are fantastic at this part. But the roadmap forces you to also plan for stage 2, transfer. This is the critical handoff to the core business. And then finally, stage 3, maintain. How is this thing going to be supported and sustained once it's out in the wild? Planning for all 3 from the very beginning is an absolute game changer. And to plan across those stages, the roadmap is built on 4 really basic but powerful questions. It forces your team to define who is responsible, who owns each piece, what do we actually need, what skills, what assets, how are we going to integrate it, what are the specific activities, and with what are the resources, the budget, the support we need to make it happen. This structure is what moves the conversation from just abstract ideas to concrete, actionable commitments.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking as a leader. This sounds nice, but what is the real payoff for my team and me? That's a fair question. And the research is very clear on this, pointing to 4 key benefits that directly solve the biggest pain points of this whole process.
First, it makes the invisible visible. It forces you to really understand your internal needs, which means you stop wasting R&D budget on projects that were doomed from the start. Second, you can strategically plan the integration instead of just throwing ideas over the wall and hoping for the best. Third, and this is so vital, it's a powerful communication tool. It aligns everyone from the lab to the business unit on a single plan. And finally, it helps you spot and deal with risks before they blow up the project. That saves time, money, and a whole lot of frustration.
So much of the power of this tool really just comes down to its visual nature. As the researchers put it, roadmaps are valuable because they help us understand complex systems and make decisions together. It's not just a document, it's a boundary object. It creates a shared language and a shared picture of success for teams that, frankly, often don't speak the same language at all.
So this really brings us to the ultimate question for any innovation manager or leader out there. Are you ready to stop losing your best ideas at that final frustrating mile? Are you ready to really master this transition and dramatically boost your innovation ROI?
Now, this has just been a quick overview. To really get a handle on this tool and the whole methodology, I highly recommend you check out the full source material.
The paper is called the Innovation Transition Roadmap, a practical tool for navigating the exploration-exploitation divide, and you can find it in the journal Research Technology Management. It is a fantastic, actionable resource for making sure your innovation finally sticks.